I initially made this the first time, and my wife was not happy that I was so upset because I'm actually a pretty mellow dude. And the reason that I get upset when men disrespect women is because I grew up with a father that was very physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive, not just to myself, but to my mom. So when I see women are mistreated, I feel extremely triggered and passionate because I care. 5 minutes after we had this conversation, I am not kidding you, Providence, I came across this video of a woman pastor. Listen.
This past week, the President of these United States insulted two female reporters who had the temerity to ask him questions. ABC reporter Mary Bruce asked him and the Saudi Crown Prince about the murder of fellow journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Intelligence services solidly connect the Saudi Crown Prince to the murder of Khashoggi. So think of the courage that took to ask the man who murdered your colleague about that murder. And here's part of what President Trump said in his reply after he said things happen as a justification for the death. It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you're a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. The next day, Bloomberg reporter Catherine Lucy tried to ask him why he had not yet released the Epstein files, and he said, "Quiet, quiet, piggy." I trust we can all agree that the president's behavior is unacceptable. It is not the kind of sexism and bullying and callous cruelty that we expect or want from our elected leaders. But the part of it that upset me the most was the silence by the other reporters and other people present when it happened. He took questions from other reporters after he said those things. And the only question that should have been asked of him was, "What in the world did you just say to our colleague? We will return to the questions after you apologize to her." That's it. That's the only question that he should have been asked. By their silence, he was given the message that it is okay to demean women who dare to ask him questions. Jeremiah reminds us to call out terrible behavior, even when it seems impolite and maybe not our place. Woe to the shepherds who scatter and destroy the sheep of my pasture, says the Lord. We cannot be silent, and we have been quiet for too long while our neighbors are being harmed.
Perfectly said. You know, John Lewis almost died just for wanting to vote. Martin Luther King died just for wanting to be equal to a black man, a white man. Kaepernick lost his job just for wanting justice. And still too many of us are just sitting by quietly like those journalists. When are we going to speak up? When are we going to act as if that female reporter is our mom or our sister? Why do we still act like it didn't happen to us? Why do we wait until something affects us before we care? And more specifically to you cosplay Christians. Even now, with all these atrocities happening, I hear you talk about grace and forgiveness and compassion and Jesus, Jesus, God, God, gold crosses and quoting scriptures in the book of Isaiah and prophets. And yet, I see nothing in your walk. A lot of you talk a very big game, a very good religious game. And yet when it comes to your faith, when it comes to actually doing something, it's empty. That's why you're not people of faith. And for you journalists, shame on all of you that you worried more about your career than decency and morality. You don't think that I get threats on here? Insults, racial slurs? Unalive yourself, Paul? I get them all the time. But people that aren't white, people that are black, they're treated like that every day. They don't get jobs. People cross the streets. They call them the N-word. They treat them differently. They lose jobs because of their first name. They have to give the talk to their kids. They get pulled overnight by cops. Yes, white cops that people fail to criticize just for being black. And white people can't even speak out against a convicted felon online because they're worried about making Uncle Bob. uncomfortable. It's time that we all had righteous anger, just like Jesus flipped the tables. It's time. Thank you, Pastor. I'm going to see if I can interview her because I have a tremendous amount of respect, and that is the kind of church that I would want to go to. Have a good day.